Hello everyone, welcome to ForceBolt's YouTube channel. In today's video, I'll take you through one of our projects discussing UI and unit testing for iOS. But before that, let me brief you about mobile application testing, why we need it, what kind of testing we can do in iOS, and how many frameworks we require in iOS. What is mobile application testing? Mobile application testing is a process by which application software developed for handheld mobile devices is tested for its functionality, usability, and stability. Moving further, I'll talk about why we need mobile application testing. Let's begin. As we all know that the growing number of mobile devices gives rise to massive operations, system fragmentation, screen sizes, and more. Therefore, to handle these type of situations, the QA attempts tremendously to ensure the user's seamless experience across various mobile devices without functionality bugs and issues. Moreover, this helps validate the appearance, performance, and functionality of apps across multiple devices. Now, I'll focus on what kind of testing we can do in iOS. What kind of testing we can do in iOS? So there are different types of testing which we can perform in iOS, and that are as follows: UI testing, installation testing, performance testing, unit testing, functional testing, and API testing. Moving on, let's highlight how many frameworks for Swift iOS testing. The types of framework for iOS testing are XCTest and StoreKit-Text. Now, let's move on to the demonstration part, where I'll show you and provide the solution to verify all the validation and the field in the app login page of an iOS application, and try to fill the details into the field and verify according to the validation with UI and unit testing, and also verify the submit data with the help of API. Let's get started. After the development phase, we need to verify whether our application functionality is running properly or not. So, to make it possible, we will send our application to the testing phase. So here, I will write the unit test cause, or you may say it as the UI test case. Also, I'll write the API test cases to perform testing on the app login page functionality. First, I have written a unit test case here to verify the return values from the functions to check the validations of all the emails by sending the mock data. Here, I create two scenarios. The first is to check the email ID validation by sending the invalid email ID. The second one is to check the email ID validation by sending the valid email ID. Now, I'll check on the class email validate XCTest case to run it. Now, I'll check this function first, that is test invalid email ID throws with the help of assertion via which it will reveal that the expression of the function returns is false or true. As you can see, my test case has succeeded here. So the test coverage of the test case showed as pass status. As if you can see my screen, it goes to 81.9% and we executed the 1053 lines for the test case. Second, I have selected this API testing, which I read to check whether the response is 201 or not by sending the valid and invalid email IDs. So here I created two scenarios. Now I'll select this function, that is test_check the API response by invalid email ID throws to check the response that it is not equal to 201 by sending the invalid email ID. So the second function I'll select is test_check tag API response by valid email ID throws to check the response equal to 201 by sending the valid email ID. Now, I'll command to run it by clicking on the class API testing.xctest case. As you see, my build is succeeded over here, confirmed by this pop-up on my screen. So, my test case also succeeded. Moving further, we'll now focus on UI testing. I have written the UI test case for validating the email ID or field by applying the different scenarios here. So, I have set up the code to run before and after every test case. As you see, this function of a tear down runs after every case once I set them up. Now, let's know what this setup function means. So, this function runs and is executed before every test case. Further, I have created some scenarios for this. Let's have a look at my first scenario. So, my first scenario includes the functionality to check the email validation by sending the invalid email ID. So, I sent it over here. And here comes my second scenario, in which I sent the null value and checked the alert window is showing up or not, which is an invalid email ID. My third scenario is to send a repeated email and check whether the message is reflected in the alert box or not. As you see on my screen, an account with that email already exists over here. So my fourth and last scenario is to test the email validation by sending a valid email ID. Let's run this function. Now, the details have been added here, such as the valid email ID, and you may check the valid icons here. So here I can see and check which scenario is running right now, and it's the valid email ID. Now when I click on this function test_enter valid email throws, you will see that it has succeeded. So I'll go through all the scenarios that I added. As you see here, my first test scenario has been passed. The second one has also been successfully succeeded and the method validation has passed. So my last scenario also passed the test. As you look at my screen, you will see that this is the test copy for the UI test case. After you clear your UI test case, your percentage will be around 93.6% and your execution will be 1053. So this was all about UI and unit testing for iOS. ForceBolt is the right choice for you if you seek services like this. We deliver the best services and always try to stand above our customers' expectations. Our team of experts is all set to guide you through every step of the process with excellent services related to your business, such as Angular development, AWS development, Firebase development, and many more. I hope you find this video helpful. Thank you for watching this video. See you next with another informative video.